What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 3 grapplers in each division. We're going to have a podium for each division, first, second, and third place, and I will be declaring who I believe are the best grapplers in each division. This is a video that is quite relevant because this weekend we got Gilbert Burns taking on Sean Brady in a very grappling heavy kind of two elite grapplers matchup. That's going to be an interesting fight, but I'm not going to talk about women's MMA because people would just turn off the video at that point. But yeah, 3 people per division. You let me know in the comments if you agree or not. I'm sure you won't because you guys are all casuals. But if I did forget someone, I'm sure there's some cases to be made for other guys to be in the top 3. But yeah, I'm going to get into it. And yeah, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, follow my Instagram, Leftland MMA. And yeah, let's get started with the flyweight division. So, the flyweight division. First place, I have Alessandro Pantoja. Second place, I have Tatsuro Taira. And third place, I have Amir the Rat Albazi. Now, this is an interesting one because there are some good grapplers at flyweight. You know, Brandon Moreno, he's got some decent grappling, but he's not someone that pushes grappling very often. I know there's going to be someone in the comments being like, what about Asu Elmabayev, bro? He's a savage. Yeah, I'm not putting Asu Elmabayev. Steve Erceg's got some good grappling, but we just haven't seen enough of it, I think, in the UFC. And who's he, like, implemented high-level grappling against? Like, he showed some decent anti-grappling against Pantoja, but he implemented some, like, just clinch control against Alessandro Costa. And apart from that, maybe he had some grappling sequences with David Dvorak, but we just haven't seen Erceg out-wrestle, out-grapple, like, submit anyone in the UFC yet, so I just can't declare him as a top 3 grappler in the flyweight division. But Pantoja, I think you have to say, is number 1. If you really want to be fucking hardcore about it, you could be like, oh man, Tyra's pretty good, bro. Like, Tyra's very good, I agree. But I just think Pantoja, you got to say, is better. He's out-grappled Brandon Moreno, he's out-grappled Steve Erceg, he's out-grappled Royval, Perez, all these guys, he's out-grappled them that he's fought. Might not be the most entertaining fighter, but there's no doubt that no one has been able to out-grapple him. No one's been able to submit Pantoja, that's for sure. And no one's really been able to... I mean, he had some good sequences with Askarov. I'd say Askarov is the closest person that came to out-grappling him. I forget how that fight exactly went. I know he lost that fight in my memory. I think he lost... he had a really nice back take at one point, but I do think he lost. He lost to Askarov. I forget how much of that was like him getting out-grappled, though. But yeah, Pantoja really hasn't been out-grappled by anyone currently on the UFC flyweight roster. So I think it's pretty clear he's got the number 1 spot. He's got great wrestling, incredible like speed scrambles and stuff. The scrambles of where he would take the back against Moreno or Royval were incredible to watch. Very good grappler there. Taira, he's got a fight booked against... who's he fighting? Brandon Royval in a couple of weeks' time. That's going to be a good fight. If he can out-grapple Royval, submit Royval even, that might then push a case for him to be number 1 because Pantoja subbed him in the first fight but wasn't able to sub him in the second fight. So if he can go out there and sub the version of Royval who's coming off that loss to Pantoja, obviously I know he beat Moreno in the meantime, that was pretty much all striking there, but if he can go and fight the Royval who took a lot of lessons from that Pantoja loss in the rematch, he's like, yeah, I really got to stop being, like, I got to work on my grappling, can't be getting taken down by these guys, can't be getting held down. If Taira can go out there, take him down, submit him even, that would be very impressive, especially if he does it like in a more dominant way than Pantoja, which would be very impressive. So that would then push a case for him to be number 1. The third spot's where it kind of gets close. I think top 2 is pretty clear. Third spot, you know, you could go with a few guys. Like, I don't mind an Erceg take because he does have very good grappling. Elmabayev, again, but just hasn't seen it against enough top-level competition. So I think Amir Albazi is a solid selection. He did out-grapple Kai Kara-France for a lot of moments in their fight. That was pretty much the only success he had. Still, I do think the fight was a robbery. But I think it's pretty clear that Albazi is a solid grappler. He's got good wrestling, took the back against Kai, almost had a rear naked choke. So yeah, Albazi's got some solid grappling. He's booked against Moreno. If he goes out there and just out-grapples Moreno and 50-45s him or 48-47 or even subs him somehow, which would be very impressive, that'll push him up the rankings as well. But let's move on to the Bantamweight division. Bantamweight, number 1, I have Umar Nurmagomedov. Number 2, I have Merab Dvalishvili. And number 3, I have Henry Cejudo. Now, this is where some people might disagree, and I do get the take for like a Piotr Jan, very solid grappler. Even Corey Sandhagen's not a bad addition to add here. Figueiredo's a great grappler too. We saw him implement some grappling against Cheeto and against Cody Garbrandt. What's his name? Fucking Mario Batista is a very solid grappler too. I wouldn't say he's like way up there though. But yeah, there are some good Song Yadong's got some good anti-grappling, but there are some good grapplers at Bantamweight. Bantamweight's a very technical weight class. It's a very skillful weight class, and as such, there's some really high-level grapplers there. I've gone with my selection of Umar at number 1 because I think what he did to Corey Sandhagen is the most impressive grappling base, and he outstruck him too, don't get me wrong, but in terms of just the grappling aspect, that's the most impressive grappling-based performance I've seen at Bantamweight, probably since, honestly, like, Aljo subbing Corey Sandhagen in, like, a minute. Maybe I'm just immediately just forgetting something, but, like, Petr Yan, he did have moments out-grappling Sean O'Malley. He's had moments, he took down Song Yadong in, like, round 2 and 3, but I just can't go past him getting 50-45'd by Merab and just getting taken down and not being able to steer clear. I know that's Merab just spamming takedowns, and that happens to a lot of guys, but especially, look, if Merab goes out there and just ragdolls O'Malley and 50-45s him, then I will honestly probably, like, put Yan at number 3, and I'll, like, move Cejudo, because that'll just tell me, like, yeah, Jan's actually got really good grappling. Also, out-grappled Aljo in a lot of moments in their first fight, obviously. But again, Yan, the way he's lost has been grappling. Like, Aljo just backpacked him for round 2 and 3. Even Song Yadong in round 1 took him down a couple times. Other fights he has been taken down. So it's like Petr Yan, he's got very solid takedown defense. He's very good, and he does kind of need to build into the fight. But I just don't think I can put him in the top 3, given that he rarely implements an actual grappling first kind of game plan. Like, we don't see him just go out there and just wrestle fuck people and score 50 takedowns on them, or attempt 50 takedowns, I should say. He had some really nice trips against Aljo. He had some really good double legs and some good takedowns against Song Yadong. Who else has he really fought and grappled well against? I'm probably being a casual and forgetting. The Corey Sandhagen fight was pretty much all stand-up. So that's where I'm probably going to do a part 2 to this video and do striking, and he'll definitely be in the top 3 easily for that video. But Umar at number 1, I think is pretty clear. Look, I know he's only really got the win over Corey as like a high-level win, but I think what we're seeing him do, he's holding guys down, he's taking them down, he's taking them back, landing ground and pound. And Corey is a very good fucking anti-wrestler and an anti-grappler for the most part. Like, I know he has some weaknesses, and he's a bit, I'm not saying frail, but he's not the strongest guy in the world. He can be kind of muscled around a bit, but Corey's a very good anti-grappler. And then number 2, I think Merab is the reason, just because you might say, oh, he's not technical, he doesn't really submit anyone, he doesn't, like, hold control time. But grappling, in my opinion, is just anything that's not striking, anything that's not throwing strikes when you're engaging in clinch, takedowns, jiu-jitsu, any of that, wrestling, all of that is grappling. And so that then means Merab is out-grappling all of these guys because he's taking them all down. Out-grappled Yan, out-grappled Cejudo, which is very impressive. You get extra points when you out-grapple other people that are high up on the list. And, like, people forget, man, Henry Cejudo is a fucking savage, man. So, Triple C, guys. Henry Cejudo, he's also a very good wrestler. He had moments against Aljo, did lose that fight, but he took Aljo down a couple times himself, I believe. Obviously, when he was champion, he did score a lot of takedowns. A lot of the time, he actually did stand up. I think the immediate thing of, like, oh, Cejudo's the best fucking grappler in the division is because, like, he's just got the Olympic credentials. But for the most part, he actually was a striker first in the UFC. Like, weirdly enough, he's struck with a lot of guys. But he did get takedowns in fights. He did out-wrestle guys, beat him up on the ground. So Cejudo's done that. You gotta have him in number 3, I think. Look, if you want to say Jan's a better all-round grappler, like, if this is just wrestling, then yeah, Cejudo's up there. But all-round grappler, I don't mind the take that Jan's above him, but I think this is it's a safe take. Like, it's not the most, I'm not going to come on here and be like, well, I don't know, man, I'm going to put Damon Blackshear. Like, I'm not going to try and be that guy that, like, Rinya Nakamura, man. Like, even if, yeah, maybe he would, like, out-wrestle him, in, like, a pure wrestling match. I think MMA grappling, what we've seen, I have to go also based off just resume and who you've done it to. But anyway, let's move on to the featherweight division. Featherweight is where things get interesting, and this is where the controversy may arise, because I'm putting fucking Volkanovski as number 1, and I put up a poll recently with the options of Volkanovski, Ortega, Evloev, and Aljamain Sterling, and I asked who is the best grappler at featherweight, and Volk had like 6% of the fucking votes. So yeah, you guys are underrating Volk's grappling, where this guy's a really good grappler. People forget, man, he's done well in grappling before. It's not like he just never fucking grapples. In the Islam fight's the only time he's ever grappled. Yeah, he doesn't employ it as a first option, so maybe I should have him a bit lower, just because he's not offensively grappling everyone. But what's his name? He smoked Yair in the grappling, just took him down, beat him up easily. Really good grappling performance against Islam Makhachev too. Defended the takedowns, defended the submissions of Ortega, beat him up on top, beat him up from top, just ground and pound, and that's all grappling. That's all grappling based kind of stuff. So Volk, also Zombie as well, took him down nice and easy. Holloway's the only guy who he hasn't just ragdolled in grappling that he's tried to, apart from like Makhachev, I guess. But yeah, Volk's doing real good in the grappling. He didn't shoot against Ilya, so it's not like you could say, oh, Ilya stuffed his takedowns, never shot once. So yeah, I think Volkanovski's the number one grappler, because who the fuck does that, what he did to Islam Makhachev, like stuff takedowns, survive on the back, get on top at the end of the fifth and beat him up. Like, I know Poirier did well as well in the grappling, but I don't know. I think Volkanovski just is fucking a better grappler than Aljamain Sterling. I think he would smoke Aljo. Aljo would shoot takedowns. He would get all of them stuffed, in my opinion, and he wouldn't take his back as easily as Aljo does with a lot of guys. Movsar Evloev, you're telling me Movsar, who's literally just a fucking shit version of Makhachev, with just less good wrestling and not even close to the striking, and not even submissions as well. Movsar doesn't finish anyone, never got a finish in the UFC, 7 decisions. So I don't think you can say Movsar's going to out-grapple Volk. And we've seen him fight Ortega. Ortega had him in some close submissions, but apart from that, Volk got on top and beat the fuck out of him. So yeah, I don't know who's a better grappler than Volk. Who at featherweight would you be like, yeah, I'm picking that guy to out-grapple and submit Volk? Fucking no one. So that's why I'm confused as like, why are people putting like Ortega as the number one grappler at featherweight? Like, Volk out-grappled him. Volk got on top, beat the fuck out of him, and survived his submission attempts. Is that not literally the definition of fucking out-grappling him? I know a lot of the fight was on the feet, but when it was on the ground, apart from just some guillotines and a triangle, like, Volk was just beating the shit out of Ortega. And in my opinion, he got a third round TKO in that fight because Ortega had to get his corner to actually pick him up and help him back to his stool, which is not allowed. And also, Ortega took way longer than normal to actually go back out there. He literally failed the fucking, how many fingers am I holding up? So in my opinion, that was a round 3 TKO for Volkanovski, not even a decision, and that was a grappling-based TKO. So I think Volkanovski's the number 1 grappler at featherweight. I said Aljamain Sterling is the number 2 grappler and Ortega's number 3. Those two are interchangeable. You can say fucking one's better. I think Aljo's wrestling is a bit better. We've seen as well, he actually has performed better in grappling fights or in grappling scenarios against higher level opposition than Ortega has. Ortega, Zombie, Yair, these are the guys he's out grappling. Yair, who's definitely got a weakness in his takedown defense. But what's it called? Aljo's out-grappled Peter Yan in the rematch. He's out-grappled and submitted Corey Sandhagen. He out-grappled, or not out-grappled, but like he beat Cejudo, and a lot of that was exchanging in the grappling. And then he just 30-27 Kelvin Cato and out-grappled him easily and really was in no trouble throughout that fight. So I think Aljamain Sterling definitely has a good case. And if he goes out there and beats Movsar, the reason why I don't have Movsar on here is because he doesn't submit anyone, and he also doesn't really do ground and pound either. Like, Movsar is like just a less efficient version of Marab through the grappling, but he's got a bit better striking. But we're not rating striking, so like just pure grappling, I can't put Movsar top 3 when he's never submitted someone. Like, I know his wrestling is really good, but even then, like, Allen stuffed a bunch of his takedowns, and I thought Allen won that fight first and third. I gave Movsar the second, but even that, a lot of success. The cut that he got against Allen was on the feet. That wasn't like a punched him or elbowed him on the ground. That was on the feet. So, I don't know. I don't think Movsar's grappling is, like, incredible. He was in some tight submissions against Lopez and survived, which is good. And he held down Lopez and kind of beat him up on the ground a bit, which is also very good. So, I definitely think he's 4th. He's a very close 4th. I wouldn't even mind putting him over Ortega, because, I don't know, I just don't rate Ortega that highly at this point. But in terms of, like, you got to include everything. It's not just best wrestler. If it was best wrestler, he's probably second. I'd probably put him second behind Volk, and I'd have him above Aljo. But in terms of overall grappling, submission, ground and pound, all this, that's all grappling. I don't think he's top 3. So that's my opinion. You guys let me know in the comments if you agree or not. I think this is going to be the point of debate where people are going to say, I'm fucking doing the Lucas Tracy and just glazing Volk. But I do think Volk is just a better grappler than these guys. It doesn't mean better wrestler. It doesn't mean better pure jiu-jitsu. It means overall grappling, ground game, all of that, wrestling, clinch, all of that's grappling. And I think Volk's got a better grappling based on all of these guys. But let's move on to the lightweight division. Lightweight, this is where I think things get a bit clearer and a bit easier, but I do have a bit of controversy here with the number 2 and 3 placements. I think number 1 is pretty clearly Islam Makhachev. I don't think there's any debate there. But number 2 and 3 is where it gets interesting, because I know people are probably going to hate this take. I do still believe Oliveira is a better grappler than Arman Tsarukyan, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Look, I'm not set on this. I'm not going to die on this hill. And yes, so I am kind of glazing Oliveira because I was annoyed that he lost to Arman. But in my opinion, you kind of can look at Arman beat him in a mostly grappling-based fight. But I think if you look at who did better in the grappling there, Oliveira had the submission. Oliveira, both submissions in round 1 and 3. And Arman kind of just took him down and held him there and threw some ground and pounds. He did very well, and I think it's close. And if you wanted to put Arman as number 2, I don't mind it. But again, when I'm looking at submissions, who's Arman finishing on the he beat up he ground and pounded. He's got good ground and pound. I'll give Arman that. He beat up Joel Alvarez. But I want to see submissions too. I want to see you take the back. I want to see you do all this, and I just haven't seen enough well-rounded grappling from Arman. He's got great wrestling. But even Gamrot out-grappled him. And Gamrot, Mr. fucking Scamrot, Arman stuffed some takedowns there, but Gamrot later in the fight did take over a bit with the grappling, and got the win on paper, Anthony Smith style. So, I don't know, it's close. Gamrot is, I'm gonna leave Gamrot out simply because, he didn't do as well as I expected against Dan Hooker, and I kind of think you should be, I think Arman smokes Dan Hooker in the wrestling. I think Islam beats Dan Hooker easily. Obviously, he already did it. And then I think Oliveira beats Dan Hooker in the grappling or striking, whichever way he needs to. So at this stage, Gamrot, again, the Marab style, he's just not doing it as effectively. RDA, cool. Didn't beat Beneil Dariush. Jalen Turner, cool. We've seen Jalen Turner is terrible at grappling. He gets taken down by fucking everyone. So yeah, I think this is I think the top 3 is pretty clear in terms of who's there, but the number 2 and 3 you can switch around. I'm not fussed. It's just about, in my opinion, Oliveira is a more well-rounded grappler. And he's shown the submissions too. He's shown the back-taking ability. He's shown more versatile grappling overall than Arman Tsarukyan. But anyway, let's move on to the welterweight division. Next up, welterweight. Another one where it's going to get some controversy going. Belal Muhammad in the number 1 spot. In number 2 spot, I have Shavkat Rakhmonov. And then in the number 3 spot, I have Sean Brady. Now, this is the one where I've kind of just said, fuck it, who cares? I'm just going to make a crazy kind of retarded take and then see who fucking disagrees with me, which will probably be a lot of people. But Belal number 1. I think it's pretty clear after what he did to Leon Edwards in the main event of UFC 304. I think bro's got to be number 1. Remember the planes, remember the takedowns, remember the 49-46 decision. Cold from Belal Muhammad plus 10,000 euro. But yeah, Belal's a very good grappler. Great wrestling, great top control. Doesn't really submit a fly, but he took the back of Leon Edwards, held him there, so that was pretty impressive. Number 2, Shavkat. Now, this is where some people might be like, bro, you're just glazing Shavkat. He's not even that good of a grappler. And I don't hate the take. Look, Shavkat, sometimes he's a little bit underwhelming, but so far, when you've beaten everyone you've fought, and you've fucking taken down taken down most of them. I know sometimes he's struggled with takedowns against Jeff Neal, but he did end up submitting him. So I think that's kind of cancels out, I guess. He's probably going to fight Belal next. If he just goes out there and beats Belal on the feet, I'll probably keep him at number 2. If he goes out there and out-grapples Belal and beats him everywhere, I'll probably move him up to the number 1 spot because the submissions are very good. Guillotine submission over Neil Magny, Rene Kachoke over Jeff Neal, Rene Kachoke over Wonderboy. He's got submissions. He's got some good takedowns. Not the most clean. I think Belal's a better wrestler. I think Usman's a better wrestler. Colby's a better wrestler. Brady's even a better wrestler. I think Shavkat's wrestling is actually not as good as people kind of think it is. I think they just assume he's some major takedown guy. I think it's his jiu-jitsu that is the better part of his game. And also, this is not prime. If I'm talking prime Usman or prime Covington, yeah, I'm going to have them above Shavkat probably. Or even prime Burns, but Burns is another guy who doesn't really implement grappling and takedowns heaps. Jack Della Maddalena fight, yeah, but Belal kind of just held him at range on the feet, not much going on there. Wonderboy, everyone fucking takes down Wonderboy apart from Holland, who's retarded. And if you, like, it's not even that impressive to out-grapple Wonderboy at this point. Now, Shovcut beat Wonderboy too, but Shovcut did it by finish. A lot of guys just take down Wonderboy and beat him by decision. Bilal, Burns, that happens quite a bit. Shovcut finished him, so I think that shows Shovcut's a little bit better with the offensive submissions. I don't think Burns' offensive submissions are that good. I think it's his defensive grappling, which is really solid, and his wrestling, which we saw in the Jack Della Maddalena fight, which is really solid. Sean Brady, now this is where I have him in the number 3 spot, and this is where I'm going to make a bit of a risk. I'm going to post this video before this weekend's card, because I could just wait, and I could just go out there and wait for Sean Brady to get a 49-46 grappling heavy decision and be like, see guys, look, I reckon I'm going to take this take, and it's not going to be that crazy of a take, but I reckon Sean Brady is the number 3 grappler at welterweight. But I'm going to do it before the fight happens, and I'm going to make an assumption that he is going to take down Gilbert Burns, and he is going to out-grapple him, and he's going to avoid the submissions. So I think that's what's going to happen. Now, for those that are wondering why Kamaru Usman, Wobblestone, Cobblestone, Knees is not here, it's because of that very reason. He's a bit old, he's a bit washed, and we haven't seen him really out-grapple anyone in a while, to be honest. Like, Khamzat Chimaev out-wrestled him in round 1, round 2, and then it kind of took him down a bit in round 3. Round 2 was all on the feet. The trilogy with Leon really didn't implement grappling that well, and the reason why I don't rate Usman's overall grappling, again, wrestling, he's up there for sure. But overall grappling, when the fuck is the last time Usman's taken the back? When is the last time Usman's put the hooks in? When's the last time Usman's threatened a rear naked choke? I swear it doesn't happen. Even in the rematch with Leon when he ended up getting KO'd, he did kind of just dunk Leon around a bit, toss him around, but that seems like something that Leon Edwards is kind of susceptible to, just getting thrown around like a little bitch sometimes. Don't let him bully your son. But even in that, like, he got tripped out by Leon, and then got his back taken. Yeah, Usman's jiu-jitsu is pretty much fucking non-existent. Same as Gaethje. Like, Whitman turns guys into good boxers with, like, decent wrestling. In Usman's case, great wrestling. But they've got no jiu-jitsu. None of them use jiu-jitsu. So yeah, I think Brady is a better overall grappler than Usman. I think his submissions are there. We've seen him submit people, and I think he might even go out there and submit Burns. I doubt it, or maybe but like, if he goes out there and submits Burns, I don't think there's any debate that he's definitely a top grappler at welterweight. Colby's another guy who at this point is kind of washed. If I made this video 2 years ago, probably put him in there, but at this point, I don't think Colby's out-grappling a lot of these top guys, even like Jack Della Maddalena, even Ian Gary, I think could probably stuff the takedowns of Colby. Now, if you're looking at other grapplers in the division, the likes of Ian Gary, the likes of Joaquin Buckley, the likes of Michael Morales is someone who could end up making his way up this list a little bit if he can beat some other top guys with the wrestling. But for now, I think this is a pretty good top 3. I think Bilal number 1 until we see him actually get out-grappled or not be able to out-grapple someone. Shovcut number 2, I could move him down. I could have Brady at number 2 and Shovcut at 3. Now, the Brady placement could be a bit premature. He might go out there and look shit against Burns and lose, and then I look like an idiot. But I'm willing to take the risk, and it makes it more fun as well, because you guys can have some debates in the comments and disagree with me. But let's move on to the middleweight division. Middleweight division, this is another one that's going to cause a lot of debate, because I've got Khamzat at number 1, Fluffy Hernandez at number 2, and then I've got Jerikas du Plessis, real African, born and raised in Africa, fighting out of Africa. That's a real African champion. That's who I'll be. I've got Jerikas at number 3. Now, there's some other really good grapplers at middleweight. Robert Whittaker is a great grappler. Brendan Allen, very solid grappler. Who else is a good grappler? Bo Nickel, solid grappler. Hermanson, no, not really. Delidzi, mid. So yeah, it kind of does, I'm lying, it kind of does fall off a cliff a little bit. But yeah, Brendan Allen's a good choice to be in there. Whittaker's not bad at all. But again, Whittaker doesn't really implement grappling against people. We see his anti-grappling's really good. His offensive wrestling, or his defensive wrestling, I should say, is very solid. But when's the last time Whittaker subbed someone? When's the last time Whittaker's just put on a wrestling masterclass against someone? Really doesn't happen. Number 1, Khamzat. Now, pure grappling, this is not me saying best fighter, best all round, all this shit. This is just me saying they're pure grappling. Whose pure grappling is the best? And Khamzat Chimaev in round 1 is the best fucking damn grappler in the sport. I don't care what anyone says. Khamzat in round 1 is the best grappler in the sport. Now, Khamzat in round 1 does not continue into round 2. Khamzat in round 2 is just the most mid fucking person ever. But in round 1, it's hard to ignore that he just 10-8'd Kamaru Usman in the first, tossed him around, took his back. like, had him on the list, almost subbed him. He's got submissions. He's got ground and pound TKOs. He's got, like, amazing takedowns as well. So I think it's pretty clear that Khamzat's pure wrestling, pure submissions, all that is top tier and number one in the division. Now, Fluffy Hernandez, more of a Marab, more of a Colby type. He's like a Marab, Colby kind of hybrid, a bit on crack, a Mexican Marab / Colby Covington. Now, he's very good, right? And we're going to see him fight Michel Pereira. And if he does end up beating Michel Pereira, that's going to definitely push a case for him to be further up on other people's lists if you don't have him at the number 2 spot or in the top 3. Because beating Michel Pereira, I should say, is... Michel Pereira's never been known to be like the best grappler in the fucking world, but he's explosive, he's strong as fuck, and he's dangerous. So if he can get past the danger on the feet and then just drown this guy on the ground, it's going to be very impressive. Now, the top level opposition is not there. Roman Kopylov, Edmund Shabazian, who we've just seen has lost to Gerald Meerschaert. Not the best win, like, aging well wise, but still, I think he's very good, because who is just consistently stuffing like, you might stuff the first couple, it's like Marab, you might stuff a few, but he's going to just outgas you. Now, this is maybe where I should take away some credit and be like, oh, this is not a cardio tier list, this is a grappling tier list, and his pure grappling is solid, but it's not like it's not like top of the division level. Maybe we'll see that to be true. Maybe we will see Anthony Hernandez become like the best grappler at middleweight. But I saw Lucas do a similar video to this, and he's claiming Hernandez is gonna fucking beat Whitaker and he's gonna beat like every fucking top guy apart from like I think he said Hernandez will beat Khamzat, which I don't even hate that take, to be honest. But like, I think he was a little bit too premature with that, but I still think he's very good. And just the grappling side of things, I think he's number 2. Number 3, I have Dricus. Now, you could say, why is Dricus not number 2? Why is the guy whose best win is Roman Kopylov below the guy who just subbed Israel Adesanya, who's the first, and that was the first time Adesanya's been subbed? Very good point. I said that to myself, but then I said, Dricus, I'm not picking someone who fucking head and arm throwed themselves onto bottom or lat dropped themselves on bottom against Brad Tavares. And yeah, Dricus, like, he's got great pressure grappling. He's got good submissions. His takedowns are solid. Like, he did take down Strickland. He did take down Whitaker. So yeah, maybe Dricus should be number 2, I'll be honest. Maybe I fucked up there. So yeah, if you want to mentally switch that around, Dricus number 2, Fluffy number 3, I don't mind that. Dricus is a very good grappler as well. But yeah, Brandon Allen, you got to do a little bit more than subbing Paul Craig. Like, Paul Craig's submission, that's a good win to have to submit Paul Craig, but Paul Craig sucks. And then what else? Like, Chris Curtis, razor close fucking decision. If he goes out there and out-grapples a Mavov, I'll definitely put him in the top 3. I'll probably take out Fluffy. I'll have Khamzat 1, Dricus 2, and probably Allen 3. But until I see that happen, I just can't trust someone. I can't put you in the top 3 if your best win is Chris Curtis in a rematch where you got KO'd the first time, and then, who else? Paul Craig. Like, cool, good job. Yeah, Menez, okay, fair enough, he fucking subbed to Menez. That's solid. But I don't know, I just don't like Brendan Allen, so I don't want to give him credit. Anyway, let's move on to the light heavyweight division. Light heavyweight, this one I think is pretty clear. Ankalaev number 1, Rakic number 2, Blachowicz number 3. Maybe I'm retarded and missing someone. I guess you could put Krylov in there. But apart from that, who the fuck's a good grappler at light heavyweight? When Glover was here, definitely Glover would have been in there, but who else? Who's grappling at light? Like, I could be that guy and be like, guys, Umar Sy is legit, bro. He's a good prospect. Like, I'm not going to be that guy. You have to have actually beat top-level opposition for me to have you in here. That's why Bo Nickal's not there for middleweight. I think I mentioned him briefly. Bo Nickel, sorry, buddy. Your best wins a round 2 submission over over Cody Brundage, and a round 1 submission over Jamie Pickett, who's no longer in the promotion. Cody Brundage, whose only success in recent fights has been taking DQs due to back of the head shots. So yeah, Bo Nickel, fuck out of here. He's not top 3 grappler. Wrestling, that's it. His jiu-jitsu is kind of mid. But light heavyweight, I think Ankalaev is pretty clearly number 1. We saw him out-grapple Blachowicz pretty clear. And he's out-grappled plenty of other guys too. Rakic number 2, we saw him out-grapple Blachowicz in the sequences of their fight. Obviously ended up losing due to the injury on the feet. But Rakic, I think, is a very good grappler, and I think we're going to see some of that anti-grappling and some of that takedown defense, some of that strength that he's got to stuff the takedowns, some of the early takedowns at least of Ankalaev, and maybe beat him, which I really fucking hope Rakic beats Ankalaev. That'd be so good. But yeah, who else? Anthony Smith, like, on paper, I'm the best grappler in the fucking sport. I don't know. There's not really any other like light heavyweight is fucking just mid strikers, and that's why Pereira is probably gonna get fucking 7 title defenses because these retards are just like, yeah, I'm gonna stand with this glory kickboxer who's got the fucking touch of death because I don't think he's very good, so I'm gonna stand with him instead of shooting a double leg because I'm a fucking moron. Even Ankalaev saying he doesn't. Roundtree, I kind of get it. Like, yeah, Roundtree's a striker. Like, yeah, cool. You're not gonna be a striker and then just turn into a fucking, oh, so you're a wrestler now. Like, you're not going to do that. But, like, even Ankalaev saying he's going to try and fucking beat this guy standing. Like, you're not beating him standing. You're not better than this guy on the feet. Why are people doing this? So, yeah, it's kind of, like, it's really annoying because, like, Blachowicz as well, I'll give him credit. He out-grappled Izzy, outstruck him too. Izzy fans will have you say otherwise. They'll be like, no, bro, he was getting his ass beat on the feet. He just had to shoot for dear life. Like, he beat him everywhere. But he out-grappled Pereira. Like, I still don't rate out-grappling Pereira. I don't think he's very good at grappling. I just think people refuse to actually try and, like, Yuri out-grappled Pereira in round 1. But yeah, Ankalaev 1, Rakic 2 for the work he did against Blachowicz in their fight. And then, yeah, Blachowicz 3. Like, Krylov, you could put him in 3 instead of Blachowicz, maybe. Krylov's not bad. Who else, though? Like, who else is there? Tell me. There's no one. Ryan Spann, like, no, fuck off. Like, Anthony Smith is, like, unironically the 5th best up behind, Krylov. It's like, what the fuck? So, yeah, light heavyweight, it's all strikers, so Pereira's going to have a field day. But let's move on to heavyweight. Next up, heavyweight division, Jonathan Jones. I'm going to put him in the number 1 spot. Now, I'm not a John Jones fan. I don't want to give this guy credit, but I do think you kind of have to say he's a better grappler than Tom Aspinall. Look, Aspinall beat Volkov, but that was before Volkov became Swolkov and actually good at, like, grappling. That was when Volkov was a bit of a skinny guy and you could kind of take him down a little bit. Like, he was just 6'7" Volkov, really nice, good striker. But, like, Aspinall's double legs are sick, right? He does have good submissions. Sub-Darlovsky, but I think, obviously, clearly Aspinall's a better striker than Jones. He's quicker, he's more powerful, he's stronger, he's more explosive, all of that. But I think just the pure grappling, I think John Jones is better. And that's mostly based off just the work Jones did in the past. Look, recently, subbed Garn immediately. I want to see Aspinall versus Garn, because I want to compare, even if Aspinall fights Jones, which he won't, or if Jones fights Aspinall, because he's not going to, because he's a duck, and chickens can't be goats, but if Jones fights Aspinall and gets fucking KO'd, right, cool. That just shows Aspinall's a way better striker, better fighter right now. But I want to see Aspinall also fight Garn. Mr. No, this is not a good matchup for me. I must go fight only up in the rank. Cyril. He's literally above you in the rank. No, this is not a good matchup for me. I need to have fat heavyweight in Paris for main event title fight. You make vacant belt, me versus Zajino Rosenscheik. Like, that's what, me versus Mashin Tabura. Like, that's what Garn's doing. So, I don't know. But if Garn fights Aspinall, I want to see what Aspinall does. Because if Aspinall KOs him, sick. But I actually want to see Aspinall grapple and just see if he can just submit Garn immediately. Because that'll then even just further shit all over John Jones. Which he might enjoy. I'm not sure what Jones is into. But anyway, that's what... I haven't even fucking talked about my selection. I also have Almeida at number 3. Because I think Almeida's a better grappler than Curtis Blades, and I think their fight, even though Blades won, you'll be like, bro, Blades beat him, man. Like, Almeida chucked Blades around like a bitch for the first round, and then just shot a takedown and just sat there and got his fucking head squished down by Curtis Blades' belly and got TKO'd. Like, that's not Curtis Blades being a good grappler. That's just Almeida being retarded. But since, like, Blades really doesn't submit that many people, we've seen Almeida basically submit everyone apart from Lewis, who's just annoyingly difficult to finish. So, yeah, I don't fault Almeida for the loss to Blades that much. I think it was just him being retarded. But I think his grappling is still better than most guys in the division. Like, crazy take, maybe. I even think he might be a better grappler than Aspinall. Maybe he loses to Aspinall. I'm pretty sure he would on the feet. But I think pure grappling, if, like, Almeida and Aspinall had a grappling match, Almeida might win. I'm not sure. But, yeah, that is it for the video, guys. Heavyweight, yeah, as I said, Jones number 1, Aspinall number 2, Almeida number 3. You guys could disagree. I don't think that's a bad take. Spivak, you could have in there. Blades, you could have in there. Fucking who else? I don't know. Romanov, that fuck. Like, there's not that many great grapplers at heavyweight. They're all fat. So yeah, that is my list, guys. The top 3 grapplers in every division. Let me know what other kind of things you want me to do this for. I could do top 3 strikers, top 3 boxers, top 3 kickers, top 3 fucking like gays. I don't know. Like I could do a lot of styles like this, good videos. I also wanted to start doing some tier lists where I rank every single fighter in the weight class on a tier list. Like just the comprehensive like bantamweight tier list, and I might do that every time like the title is up for grabs in that weight class. That's something I could do. And then do the tier list in the build up to that fight for that division. So let me know if you guys want to see that too. But yeah, drop some other video ideas in the comments and I'll do them if they're good. If they're not, I'll tell you to fuck off. But yeah, like, subscribe, follow my Instagram, Left Lane MMA, follow my Twitter, same thing I think. Yeah, peace out guys. See you in the next one.